Which character from The Office do I remind you of the most and why?
I would say you're kind of a mashup. Natalie, what do you remember about the first time we met, and what was your first impression of me? Be kind.
Oh. I remember meeting you at a Golden Globes party many, many years ago.
Yep.
And I remember you were dressed nicely.
Well, that's very nice.
Yes.
Clearly
You
not
were
my
tall. You're still tall.
Perfect.
I am not. So those are things I noticed.
Wow.
We obviously didn't have a very meaningful interchange because that's all I remember.
Perfect. I do remember that for sure, but it was in such passing that I kind of always say that when we had our first day in Vienna.
Yeah.
Because you came and you were so prepared, and I was so excited to work with you. And I was so impressed because you already had like your pages out and stuff. And I went, oh no, we won't be doing pages. And then I was immediately struck by how unbelievably funny you were and how much fun we had on one day just going in and out of a sewer.
Thank you.
Even that was fun with you.
And we were always dressed in coordinated colors.
Yes,
Very
just like
exciting.
today.
We always plan ahead.
Siblings.
What are you doing?
It's like Dad said, the reward is in the journey.
Not when the journey ends in jail.
Oh, I'm not going to jail.
How do you know that?
Because I've done this. What?
What was your favorite project of mine before Fountain of Youth?
That is a
Mainly
very
what
good
I care
question.
about.
Do we have, how much time do we have? I think you know this because I was probably almost too much a fan of yours on set. I talked to you about V For Vendetta, which I actually think was one of the big film shifts for me. That was
You're giving away all your political leanings right now.
Exactly. And then I loved you in Closer. I thought that was amazing. And I also remember that being such a big moment because it was Mike Nichols and all that, and you crushed.
And you were very close to Mike as well, right?
I knew him through Emily a little bit. He was the most wonderful person in the world.
It was wonderful.
And then probably one of my favorite performances writ large is you in Black Swan.
Thank you.
That is
That's
a very,
nice.
very difficult thing to pull off, and you did it lovely.
John is obviously a legend and iconic from The Office.
Thank you.
Also, your directing work is extraordinary.
Oh,
With
thank
A Quiet Place, I also love If. Yeah,
You were such a
can do
supporter of it.
everything.
You were
can
midstream.
act,
She
you
was
can-
midstream with If. We were on set talking about it. If it
Midstream
hadn't come
sounds
out.
weird.
Yeah, sorry. No, we didn't do
This
that.
may be poor
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, sorry. No, we were shooting when I was still working on If. and
It
you were
was-
so supportive.
It was so great. Which character from The Office do I remind you of the most and why?
Wow. That's amazing. That's kind of great.
Yeah.
What would be, I would love to know, and I'm not dodging the question, if you had to be one of those characters, who would it be? And then I'll tell you who I think you'd be most like.
I mean, I think Rainn Wilson.
Is who you think you are? That's fantastic.
No, I mean, that's kind of,
who you wish
that
you
would
could
be kind of fun.
Yeah, just ninja stars and nunchucks and stuff. That's great. I would say you're kind of a mashup between Pam and Amy Adams, that character on the show, who was great. Do you think that I would survive the Black Swan dance training?
The foot are like a spider spinning a web. Attack it! Attack it!
Oh, for sure.
Really?
For sure.
I don't think you know about my flexibility, which is 0.
But you're a very hard worker. You're very disciplined.
Yep.
You're very focused.
When you cracked your feet in the movie, I still have nightmares about that.
Yeah, maybe it would be too gruesome for you.
Yeah, or I just don't know.
But you have the work ethic for it, for sure.
But do you think I could get on my toes?
Men don't have to.
Oh, we don't have to.
Men don't.
Great.
Because
Bring me in.
it's, everything's about women hurting themselves, for their beauty,
Yeah.
for their art.
Yes.
Men just, get to be in comfortable shoes,
Wow.
not do weird distortions of their bodies.
So it sounds like a breeze.
You're good.
Okay, perfect.
You're golden.
Next question. Natalie, you're an only child. What was the best thing about having me as an honorary brother while we filmed?
I always dreamed of having a big brother. I mean, we're pretty much the same age,
I'm
so
older.
you're not
It's
really
fine.
an
You're
older
not,
brother, but you're bigger. As this is a recurring theme, you're taller. And it was so fun because in real life, You're so kind. You're so fun. You're so talented. You're so professional. You lead with kindness. And then as your character, you just give me a hard time all the time. And it was really,
Yeah, it's true.
it was really fun to play.
You got both.
I got
You
both.
both things.
Got the best of both worlds.
Keep the cat in the bag until I release it. Yeah? Great.
We're looking for the fountain of youth.
Oh, please, no.
I love to laugh. Natalie loves to laugh. You have a great laugh, by the way.
Thank you.
And I think for me, it's that different dynamic. With brothers, it's a lot more sort of masculine, sort of teasing and fighting. And so to actually on-set bicker and all those things was really kind of nice. I didn't really bicker with my brothers. It wasn't bickering. It was just full-blown fighting. And so just the little needling was fun to do on set.
So you really think you're gonna find a magic pool of water at the end of this?
I don't know. But I think you want to find out.
In the movie,
Yep.
our characters get on each other's nerves quite a bit. What do I do to get on your nerves in real life?
Oh my God. Nothing. But
Oh,
no, it's true.
good answer.
But it is
Correct.
true. What can
Correct.
possibly? Honestly, I loved watching you do things that I thought would be annoying for all of us. Like,
What a nice person.
but it's true. I loved watching you get through things like, I remember you told me about the 360 body cam. And remember when we had to do and we had to wear these ridiculous outfits to do the thing. And I was like, you didn't do that, did you? And you went, yeah, it's not so bad. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in here. And I was like, oh, great. And I thought we would all be annoyed by that. And we weren't. You were just class act
So
all the way.
nice.
It's true.
I thought you were going to be like your voice, your face,
Can you imagine?
your personality,
Imagine if I led with those three
sense of
things.
humor.
We have to edit this out. What was my most annoying quality?
You're so tall. It's so annoying. I'm trying to trick everyone out there into thinking I'm tall, and it doesn't ever work.
You did well, though.
When I stand next to someone who's, what are you, 6'4"?
6'3".
6'3".
And shrinking.
It's just not fair. We did come up with a good backstory
Yep.
that we actually have different mothers.
You came up with it.
And I have a small mom. He has a tall mom.
So half siblings.
That's how it worked
now.
out this way.
Now we're half siblings. I like that. I like that version.
We filmed all over the world. What was your favorite location we got to visit and why?
I mean, it's hard to not say Egypt because the pyramids were spectacular. It almost doesn't still process that we got to shoot there. 'Cause
Yeah.
We were not near them. We were in them and on them. Clearly not all the explosion stuff, but it was pretty shocking. And by the way, one of the best rap gifts I've ever gotten was your picture of that hotel by the pyramids, which was a real hotel that had been around. Well, it was a house.
So
and then
crazy.
she gave us all this old photo of the actual hotel that was there from the early 1880s or something.
Yeah, it was really amazing. We were actually staying at the pyramids.
Yeah,
We would leave work at the pyramids, drive 5 minutes to where we would sleep.
it's true.
Also at the pyramids.
Yep. So that's my favorite.
I also loved Vienna, which I
man.
had never visited before and was just taken with the city. It's really an amazing place.
You have to tell them the story of why we had to hold for sound. Usually it's traffic.
Yes. Usually it's there's a helicopter. We have to wait. This was classical music coming out of, someone was playing on the street. And we were
Will someone shut up, that beautiful violinist? My family was in Vienna, and they came to London as well a little bit. My kids loved Vienna. They're known for their chocolate, and so they got to make chocolate in Vienna, which blew their minds. And they also loved hanging out in Guy's trailer. They loved Guy. Guy's a big hit with kids. So there's that. Told you it'd be an adventure.
There are lots of action sequences in our movie. How did the stunts compare to the ones you did on your previous projects?
The stunts on this were phenomenal. The big part of it was I've been lucky enough to do stunts, and I probably should stop doing stunts. But this one was where we were doing the stunts. The Bangkok scooter scene was unbelievable. I don't know how we shut down all those roads. I don't know how we got that market. I don't know how they allowed us to drive on a scooter with a flaming trailer. There was a lot of
amazing
questions
sequence.
I had, but it looked amazing. And we had the greatest stunt team who were so brilliant and so confident, and I never felt unsafe, which is really the big thing. I never had one of those stunts where I thought, is there any way I'm going to get hurt on this? Because you just felt like...
I did.
Did you? On this?
Yeah.
Was it
Not
jumping?
because of them, just the car chase
Yes, that was...
so intense, and it was so really high speed and wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I trusted them because I felt in very good hands, but while it was happening,
It's terrifying.
I was not sure it was safe.
No, that's genuine. In the movie, that's your genuine terror.
Genuine, yeah, wussy-ish.
And probably my weird
Vibes.
goofball smile was also real. I was like, this is great.
You were super into it, and I was super scared. You are people's reigning sexiest man alive.
God.
What kind of sexy roles are you being offered now?
This is the sexiest role I've been offered. And it was before I might have to attribute this movie with getting me that incredible honor of, finally an honor I deserve, by the way. I earned that.
When do you pass on the tiara?
Never. I heard you could fight to the death for it. And no, it gets ripped away from me in November, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any say in who it goes to?
No, I don't. Clearly, nor did any of the people that I know have any say, or they would have said no to me immediately. Speaking of Sexiest Man Alive, who is your all-time favorite people honoree?
I thought you were going to say, who's your sexiest man ever?
Sure, let's go with that.
Very easy. Swayze.
Swayze. He was people's sexiest, wasn't he?
Was he? He should have been
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Like in eternity.
Who's been your biggest mentor in this industry, and what is the best piece of advice they gave you?
Mike Nichols, who we just
Yeah.
talked about before. Absolutely my biggest mentor. He told me so many things, but a big one, which I think we talked about yesterday, was that he said, what you say no to will define you. And that was a very important thing to hear.
That's so cool. I've had so many mentors. One of the earliest mentors I had, which was crazy, because I remember I think I had like a dream in college that I had met him, and then I actually met him, was Rainn Wilson. And he gave me advice, which was being number one on the call sheet or director or anything like that. Everything revolves around you in a good way. It all starts and ends with you. So you have to hold the responsibility of the set in your own hands. So if it's hot and the AC breaks, you're not hot. And if food runs out, you're not hungry. And you just stay positive all the time. And I remember thinking that is such incredible advice, that there's a responsibility to being the person who starts and ends every day.